An amazing man. And if you've ever had the chance to work with him, you certainly understand that. He has been active all of these years and very active on the board of directors, very involved in all of the projects that we've been working on. And so the board of directors have gotten together and we have created an award, and let me read this. Presented to Jim Reilly, New Jersey Task Force 1, in honor of your leadership and vision, the Board of Directors hereby establishes the Jim Reilly SUSAR Leadership Award, given November 6, 2017. This award, this first year, goes to Jim, and in subsequent years, we will be presenting the award to recipients who have taken leadership roles within the SUSAR organization. So in Jim's absence, I've asked the New Jersey delegation here to come and accept this award on his behalf. So,
thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know I speak for Jim Reilly. He's very honored, and that his peers would choose him for an award like this. But more importantly, he's very proud of what started out as a couple of fire guys just talking about the concerns that they've had with their states in addressing the needs for search and rescue. And it just went from there and morphed into what's now known as the SUSAR Alliance, both with the state concerns and our partners on the federal side. And he's very proud of the fact that it's not all about him, that this alliance wouldn't be here without you guys in the audience and the continued support. So from him to you, thank you very much, and continue to support SUSAR. Thank you.
Very excited about that, and I got a very nice email from Jim the other day, and he was very touched, and he's a very humble man, and so anyway, kind of gets me choked up about things. So. All right, well, we have another presentation for you on USAR in the UK, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself and talk about what's going on there. You got a PowerPoint.
Okay, good morning everyone. Any more flicker? I'm not very technical, so bear with me. I've got a little video as well as a little presentation to give, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about the WASP. So, who am I? I'm Martin Foran. I'm from the UK. Worked in the UK Fire Service for 17 years now. I know I don't look that old. I've been USAR and a technical rescue specialist for about 15 years, and I'm also a member of the Overseas Search and Rescue Team for the UK. The picture there was on a deployment to Haiti back in 2010, so we've got quite a lot of experience. So I'm just going to talk about how we're using a new piece of equipment in the UK. It's called the WASP. It stands for Warning Alarm for Stability Protection. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, show you a little video, some of the story behind the WASP, and then we'll run through some practical examples of where we've used it in the UK and how it's helped us. It's an innovative simple monitoring device designed to protect all emergency service workers. We can attach it to any position, and basically it just gives us early warning of movement on incidents, really. So I'm just going to show you a quick video clip. It's not embedded in the slide, so just bear with me a second. Hold 2 seconds.
As many as 10,000 people are now believed to have died in the earthquake which tore through western India. Thousands more remain trapped in rubble.
When news of the devastation reached the UK, a team of British firefighters immediately assembled to join the international rescue effort.
It was the Indian earthquake in Gujarat in 2001, and we were deployed from Manchester as part of the 64-man team.
It's only a matter of 2 or 3 hours after the earthquake actually struck that we were up and ready for a team to go. A lot of the buildings were levelled and a lot of the roads were up, some of the bridges were down, power lines were down.
The quake, which measured 7.9 on the Richter scale, centred on the state of Gujarat, devastating the town of Bhuj and the nearby city of Ahmedabad.
We met a guy who said his wife and his son were still missing.
First thing we've got to do is find them, and then these people are seriously on tune. So we use all the equipment, we take all the scenes, acoustic guitars, ground penetrating radars, dogs, and then if we pick someone up, we've got to get down to those people. So it's a lot of work. There was no room at all. The ceilings had collapsed. We were crawling through 18 inches of ceilings that collapsed onto floors. We have to take risks. There's no other way we get it. We came across the building and found a 4-year-old boy who was trapped in the building. And we knew he was with his mum from the intelligence we had outside, but we didn't know whether his mother was alive. Once we got the little lad out, we managed to make the opening a little bit bigger and drag her out. It's pretty rare. It doesn't happen very often, especially getting 2 people out at once. And someone so young with a parent. Made it even better, really. So describe it. It's just fantastic. My concern when I got back was, what can we do potentially to make entering buildings and going through buildings more safe? I met a guy who owns a company that specialises in building and geotechnical monitoring.
My name's Rory Rock. I'm the Chief Executive of the Datum Group. Datum are a company that specialises in geotechnical and structural monitoring systems. So we make the equipment, we install it for our clients, we operate it for our clients, and we safeguard the structures and the assets that they need to use to run their business. I'm talking about an experience he had working in Gujarat in India a few years back. During that rescue, he explained to me how firemen and firefighters put themselves in a lot of risk and harm's way to make sure they can get rescued. He asked me whether or not I had a piece of equipment that might help me with this.
I was looking for a piece of equipment which was bomb-proof for a start. We're taking it into areas where it's going to get dragged about, so it needs to be really robust, self-sustainable, i.e. we could put a set of batteries in it and it'd be alright for a couple of weeks. We didn't want problems with it recharging. It needed to be incredibly accurate, able to be used in environments where it potentially would get wet, give an audible and a visual alarm, and it needed to attach to anything. So a massive list for a piece of equipment that doesn't even exist.
So it had to be extremely versatile but very simple to use. And this was a scope, this was a remit that Mark himself set out.
The team within about 4 or 5 weeks created a piece of kit which did everything on the movement side that I wanted, but it looked terrible, didn't attach to anything, and certainly wasn't final for a big lamp on the top which would have lasted 2 minutes. So the concept was there, and the engineering was there for exactly what I wanted. It was just a matter of me getting involved to say it needs to look like this, it needs to sound like that.
It was designed on the basis to keep Matt primarily safe, and then all of his other colleagues that work in this field of fire and rescue.
Over the last 3 years to get the product to where it is now, which is a long way from where it was in 2012, which was basically just a grey box with a lamp on the top, to what we've got now, which is a device which can be deployed anywhere. It's IP rated, it's CE rated, it will attach to absolutely anything. It's got the parameters of movement and vibration hours after. It's got the battery the audible and visual alarms that I wanted. And that's just credit to the amount of work we've put in over the last 3 years on this product.
The WASP was invited to Operation Unified Response in London, and it was an enormous exercise. Fire rescue, emergency services, and members of the public pretending to be injured. The WASP was deployed throughout the entire exercise and became a fundamental part of the procedures used during the rehearsal exercise. So we were very proud of that, and lots of people said how well the WASP worked and how good it was and how natural it seemed in the arena of fire and rescue.
To sum it up, this piece of kit will monitor movement on anything you put it on. Anything you attach it to where you think if this moves it could cause a problem, which could vary from rolling stock on a train to a road traffic collision, trench rescue where a prop may displace and find space. It's for any world where things can move and potentially cause damage to members of the public or emergency teams.
It's extremely exciting. Again, you don't know the amount of lives that you've saved with some safety equipment. You just know the likelihood is that you have saved somebody's life.
Okay, that was a bit sort of the story behind the bit of equipment that we're now utilising in the UK to help us on our USAR incidents. Turn me down a bit, I'm deafening you. I'll have to apologise about all the accents that we've got going on as well. There's a Geordie lad, so he's from Newcastle, so we've got a lad from Manchester. I'm from Manchester, so I do apologise for the translation issues that we've got going on. I'll try and use aluminum and railroad and stuff rather than a train and aluminium, as we call it. Okay, so I'm just going to run through some practical scenarios where we've used monitoring equipment in the UK. And we'll, obviously this unit kit we've got, it's been a really, really valuable asset to us. As you can see, we can attach it to pretty much anything. These are the examples that you've already seen in the video. Well, I'm just going to run through some actual active deployments where we've used this bit of kit. So you've probably heard we had a multi-agency exercise just outside of London, a place called Kent. It's the largest ever European exercise. It was nearly $3 million. There was 1,800 casualties. It was absolutely massive, and it was based around an underground rail crash. So what we've got is underground metro cars all piled up everywhere. So yeah, it was an absolutely great scenario that was put on by the London Fire Brigade. We used the WASP in sort of two areas. One was actual preparing the exercise itself. We had WASPs monitoring the carriages, as we were putting upwards of 200 people in each of these carriages. And although they were prepared and shored up prior to the exercise happening, we weren't sure whether or not we could actually rely on these carriages being sort of stationary throughout the entire exercise when we put sort of 200 people inside them. So we put obviously the monitoring devices on each of the carriages, just sat on the top. You can see the top right hand slide, you can see the arrows pointing at the locations of the WASPs just on top of the carriages there, just to keep all the casualties, the exercise staff and the firefighters safe. The left hand pictures you can see there's the WASP was utilised operationally by the fire crews as well. That's the other area that it was used on this exercise. They're doing some heavy lifting, heavy moving with turf winch, and the anchor system was looking like it was going to move, so they put one of these monitoring devices on the anchor just to make sure that nothing was going to fail, nothing was going to move. And finally, the bottom right hand slide, we've got a Czechoslovakian team working on top of one of the cars. We've also got another team working underneath in between the void, in between the rail cars, and we've got a strut on there, so we needed to monitor any sort of vibrations going through that strut to make sure it wasn't going to dislodge, just to keep everybody safe. They were using a lot of power tools on the roof, reciprocating saws and things. So there's a lot of vibration happening. So again, we're just monitoring the stability of the strut and make sure it's not going to fail or ultimately fall on anybody. The unit itself can be mounted in any orientation. We can use it upside down, we can use it on a wall, on a ladder. It's a really good bit of kit, and utilised underneath one of the carriages here, just to check that, again, the carriage wasn't going to move whilst we were performing a rescue underneath. The UK went to Germany this year. Earlier on in the year we had a reclassification for our team. It happens once every 5 years, and it's an INSARAG reaccreditation, so that's International Search and Rescue Advisory Group. We need to be able to pass that test to deploy overseas. We went to Germany this year and performed a 3-day exercise, utilising the WASP heavily on this exercise. Again, I was one of the team leaders in one of the sectors. It made my life very easy because part of the classification involves proving that you can monitor the structure and the shoring that you're putting in place. So very easily, as a team leader, I can just stand back and the assessors, the UN assessors, the mentors could all see quite easily that we've got everything in hand and we've got some structural monitoring. Also gives confidence to the firefighters that are actually performing the rescue as well, especially on a real incident. This was obviously a training scenario, but again, an invaluable bit of kit that gave a lot of interest to people from all over the world. We had a lot of the assessors and a lot of the United Nations classifiers there, so it was a really, really good training event. It was well received. We had a large road traffic collision on a motorway, a highway, just outside of London again, where the lorry was carrying a JCB digger. So he pulls onto the motorway, but the digger isn't low enough to fit under the bridge. So he gets up ahead of speed and hits the first bridge that he comes to, and then the bridge falls on the next wagon that comes underneath it. So I don't know if you can see, I've got a laser pointer out to see. That was actually a motorbike just underneath there. The guy just managed to jump off and get out of harm's way. Nobody was actually hurt on this incident. But our highways department were left with a bit of a dilemma of what do we do with the half a bridge that we're left with? So do we go near it or do we not go near it? I don't know. So we put one of these WASP monitoring devices onto the bridge stanchion so that crews could work around the bridge. You can see it's down here. The crews could work in and around the bridge and know that actually the bridge isn't moving and we're all safe. Yeah, it was an interesting job. This is up in Greater Manchester. There's a gas explosion. Not concrete, but brick. So extremely unstable to work with. Once it's partially collapsed, it can be an absolute nightmare. This was a gas explosion, and the problem we had here was the fire investigation team had to go into the property to conduct the investigation, and rather than having to shore up, scrape all the brick out, and potentially destroy some evidence, we were left with a bit of a dilemma because we didn't want to spoil the scene. So we put some monitoring devices up. That allowed the fire investigation team to clear the areas, which then allowed us to put subsequent shoring in and make the property safe. This is the front of the house. So we've got a rake ashore. The blast pushed the walls out at the front of the house. And again, the brickwork is so unstable once it starts to fail. It doesn't take any prisoners, that's what we say in the UK. Some more internal pictures here. We've got a crack in the wall running from top left to bottom right. And in order to monitor the bit of the wall above this crack, we just place the ladder and put this WASP unit on. If the wall moves, the ladder moves, and the WASP moves, and then it alarms, and we can then get out of the property safely. And this is a great incident. This is this isn't me, by the way. I know it looks a bit like me. This isn't me in the bottom right. But this guy is operating a forklift truck, and he buried himself under 400 tons of cheese. And, oops. So some of the racking, or one of the racking with a lot of cheese landed on this guy. He's completely uninjured. It took a long time to get him out. It was the biggest incident that Shropshire Fire and Rescue have ever had. Some of the racking was still upright, and some of it had fallen over. And yeah, we used the monitoring device again just to protect the crews as they were performing the rescue. But the health and safety executive will then investigate, because it's literally sort of a near-death experience. They will investigate this, and they use these monitoring devices again just to keep them safe. Once the fire crews have gone, keep them safe whilst they're doing the investigation. This incident was a small car, in Texan terms, and it's taken out a supporting column in a shop in the UK. So we used the Paratech struts to hold the wall up, but obviously the walls, there's still potential for the wall to hinge and fall outwards. So we used a monitoring device there to check that the wall wasn't going to fail and top over and fail on the, actually lean outwards rather than failing by coming down on top of us. We've used this new bit of kit we've used it on road traffic collisions. You've got a car that's unstable on its side, we stabilise it just the same as you guys do. But how do we know it's still not moving? So we just clip one of these devices on, and we can monitor road traffic collisions, heavy goods crashes. This was the moment that the UK Fire Service, or the international team, actually received the WASP unit from Dayton, and it was a really good moment, because it was just before our reclassification when we went to Germany, and the interest that it generated in Germany really stirred up a storm across the world, and we've actually given this presentation to the Interag World Team Leaders meeting as well. It really was an important sort of time for us going to Germany with this new piece of monitoring kit, and it's been really useful for us. And so just to sort of sum up how the UK is sort of monitoring unstable vehicles and structures, it's with this new bit of equipment, really, just the WASP. And if you want any more information on how you can utilise it, just come and see us. We're running a workshop this afternoon out on across the Teak site. And thank you very much for your time. If you've got any questions, please ask. Yes?
Does the UK have any road crowds we can use?
Oh yeah, well, come on over. Thank you.
How many do you put in your cache?
On the overseas cache has four units in there at the moment, and that will be to monitor 2 sites 24/7. That's what we carry on the overseas team, and obviously the USAR teams across the UK, the different fire services are looking at different numbers for different purposes, whether it's structural collapse or vehicles or whatever it will be.
Talk about using a reciprocating sound urine. How sensitive is it? Would that give you like a false alarm, or?
Yeah, so if you've got your struts in a trench collapse, for example, you don't want any vibration moving through the strut, so you can set the unit to monitor vibration and alarm, and then it may be that you have to turn your generator off that's close by, or close the road, because the unit's still alarming because you're getting vibration travelling through the strut or the soil. So it's very sensitive. Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you very much.